I never met him directly. That is the part people find hardest to understand when I tell this story. I did not meet him. I did not speak to him, and yet he managed to place himself into my life so completely that I still hesitate before answering my phone when an unknown number appears. This started through a friend of a friend, the kind of connection that feels distant enough to be harmless. My friend Ria had been seeing someone casually, nothing serious, and one evening, while we were sitting on her couch scrolling through nothing in particular, she mentioned that her boyfriend's roommate had asked about me. She said it lightly, like it was a passing detail. "He says you sound interesting," she told me. "Apparently you ask too many questions." I laughed at that because it sounded like something anyone could say about anyone else. I assumed it was just idle curiosity, the sort that disappears as quickly as it forms. His name, according to her, was Aaron. I did not see his face. I did not hear his voice. I only knew that he existed in the same shared apartment as Ria's boyfriend, a man named Kunnel, who already made me slightly uncomfortable in ways I could never quite explain. Kunnel was polite, attentive, and spoke carefully, as if each sentence had been rehearsed in advance. He smiled often, but his expressions never reached his eyes, and whenever Ria left the room, his attention shifted in ways that felt less friendly and more observant. The first time I felt something was off was when Ria casually repeated a conversation she claimed Aaron had started. "He asked if you live alone," she said, twisting her hair around her finger, "and if you walk back from work or take a cab." I remember telling her that was strange. She brushed it off immediately. Kunnel probably mentioned it in passing. "You know how guys talk." That explanation felt thin, but I accepted it anyway because challenging it would have meant admitting a kind of fear I did not yet want to name. A week later, I received a follow request on social media. The account was private. No profile picture, no posts. The username was unfamiliar. But when I checked mutual connections, I saw Kunnel's name listed there. I did not accept it. The next day, Ria asked me why I had ignored Aaron's request. I asked her how she knew about it. She hesitated before answering, and that hesitation stayed with me far longer than her explanation. She said Kunnel had mentioned that his roommate felt awkward after being ignored. I told her I preferred not to add people I did not know. She nodded, but something about her demeanor changed after that. She became quieter, more distracted, and oddly defensive whenever I asked anything about Aaron. A few days later, Ria invited me over for dinner. She said Kunnel would be there, and possibly Aaron as well. I declined. I told her I was tired, that I had work early, that I did not feel like socializing. Her disappointment felt disproportionate, almost urgent. "He just wants to meet you once," she said. "After that, it's done." That sentence bothered me more than it should have. Why would it be done after meeting me once? Over the following weeks, information about my life began finding its way back to me through other people. My coworker asked if I had changed my gym schedule. My neighbor mentioned seeing someone wait near my building late at night. Ria asked, casually, if I had started waking up earlier than usual. Each detail was small enough to dismiss individually. Together, they formed something else entirely. I confronted Rhea one evening, asking her directly what she had told Cunnel and Aaron about me. She insisted it was nothing personal. She said Aaron was just curious. She said he liked understanding people. That phrasing made my stomach tighten. The first direct message came late one night. It was from the same blank account. "You seem quieter lately." I did not reply. The next message arrived the following evening. Did I say something wrong? I blocked the account immediately. When I told Rhea, she did not react the way I expected. She seemed relieved, almost grateful, as if something had been resolved for her. That was when I realized she was afraid too. A few days later, Cunnel messaged me directly. He apologized on Aaron's behalf. He said his roommate struggled with social boundaries. He assured me Aaron meant no harm and only wanted to understand me better. That word again, understand. I asked Cunnel why Aaron seemed to know so much about my routines. There was a long pause before he replied. He notices patterns, Cunnel said. It's how his mind works. After that, I stopped responding to everyone connected to them. I changed my routes home. I avoided places Rhea had mentioned in passing. I stopped posting online entirely. For a while, things went quiet. Then, one evening, I received a message from an unknown number. You should not have blocked him. I did not ask who it was. Another message followed. He does not like unfinished conversations. I forwarded the messages to Rhea. She called me immediately, her voice shaking. She told me she had ended things with Cunnel that morning. She said Aaron had been listening to their arguments from the other side of the door. She said he had started writing things down. When I asked her what kind of things, she did not answer. 2 nights later, Rhea stopped responding to my calls. By morning, her phone was switched off. I went to her apartment with a sinking feeling I could no longer ignore. The door was unlocked. The apartment looked normal at first glance, but there was an emptiness to it that felt wrong, as if something essential had been removed carefully rather than taken by force. Rhea's laptop was gone. So was her notebook. The police later told me she had left voluntarily. They told me there were no signs of struggle. What they did not know was that Rhea had never been spontaneous. She planned everything. A week later, I received one final message. Now you understand why she talked so much. Attached was a photo. It showed a page filled with handwriting, schedules, observations, small details about my habits. At the top of the page was a heading, primary source. Under it was my name. At the bottom, written smaller, was another line, secondary sources, unreliable. Rhea's name had been crossed out. That was when I finally understood. Aaron had never been the one reaching out. He had been watching quietly while others spoke for him. The questions, the information, the access, all of it had come through people I trusted. Cunnel had been careful. Rhea had been used. Everyone had seemed unsettling in their own way. But the person who never appeared, never spoke directly, and never needed to explain himself was the one who had been closest all along. I moved shortly after that, changed my number, cut contact with anyone connected to that circle. Still, sometimes, when a friend mentions someone they barely know asking about me, I feel the same tightening in my chest, because I learned the hard way that the most dangerous person in the room is often the one who lets everyone else do the talking. And by the time you realize who they are, they already know everything they need